separated out these two satellites in the space itself, which is going to dock in very soon, another week's time. These are the two satellites, SPADEX A and B. सर जैसा कि पता है, ये 2024 was another remarkable year where इसरो और भारतीय स्पेस प्रोग्राम के लिए एक आगे का पूरा रास्ता सरकार ने बना के दे दिया है. The Vision 2047 for space in the Amrit Kal envisages creation of operational Bharati's Antariksha Station and Indian crewed lunar mission by 2040. So Department of Space towards Space Vision 2047 with the approval of key missions includes NGLV, the Next Generation Launch Vehicle, the reusable low-cost launch vehicle, the Chandrayaan 4, Venus Orbiter mission, and the Gaganyaan follow-on mission. Sir, 2024 has been a remarkable year and productive year, not just for ISRO, but for the entire Indian space sector. And it has laid the foundation for technologies needed for an Indian human space exploration program in the long run. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jaswant-ji. And now I invite Honorable Union Minister Jitendra Singh ji to brief the meeting.
Which seems to be a little distant from all that is space meant for, because we have a valid reason for that. When we send up the human into the space, to begin with, of course, in a human space mission, later on to land on the surface of the moon, and then possibly also to stay inside the heart of the station. How would his physiology behave? What would be his biological requirements over there? How do we meet them? How do we live with them? So space biology is a new area of study which is emerging, and I'm glad that India has decided to take a lead. So we have entered into an MOU between the ISRO and the Department of Biotechnology. And therefore, we would also be able to tell the rest of the world what happens to an astronaut where, at what position in the space, and how do you manage that. I think I don't need to tell you about the various technical aspects as he's mentioned. The docking, I think, is also abundantly shown in the live television visuals yesterday, how they get closer. I mean, it's amazing that from the speed of as much as 28,800 kilometers, because you have to generate interest among the young startups. I think this needs to be also told to young children, those who are the initiators into science. How fascinating, in fact, how romantic it is. From a speed of 28,800 kilometers, you reduce down to as less the speed or a velocity of just 0.038 kilometers. And then gradually you get close, virtually you're merging, which we may not be doing when you're driving two vehicles on the roadside, but you're doing this in the space. It's just like opening the doors of the two vehicles and then the passengers exchanging the vehicle. You can move into your vehicle, you move into my vehicle. So something so fascinating and so romantic, which you would have heard in the fairy tales in your kindergarten days, is actually being accomplished now in space. So why I'm saying so is that that would generate interest among the youngsters. We have many youngsters now coming forward, and some of the sky routes that he was naming are among now the world potential, not only world potential startups, but also very lucrative entrepreneurs. Some of them have made a fortune within a small amount of time. The other part, I think, which is also of tremendous interest to the media is that in the last few years, our space economy is also on the rise, which means I often take pleasure in saying that when we say that we will be number 3, number 4, then 3, then 5 trillion, and then gradually reach that pedestal by 2047. As scientific minds, what is expected of us is to analyze, to share, and to tell where is the value addition going to come from. So value addition to this growth of India's economy or India's growth story as far as economics is concerned, will come from those sectors which were either unexplored or underexplored, which also includes the space sector. The other sectors, of course, being the marine resources, for which also the same government has started a deep sea mission, which was announced by Prime Minister right for the Air Force at Fort in his Independence Day address. And third one, of course, the Himalayan resources, where again I'm proud that the same ministry through CSIR has launched a Roma mission, of which also again Prime Minister very encouragingly spoke in one of his Man Ki Baat broadcasts. But now coming to space specifically, we have started adding to our space economy. Today we are just about 2% of the economy, but we hope that within 7-8 years we'll go out about 4 times. So from 8.4 billion US dollars, we hope to go up to 44 billion US dollars. And that's happened because of an increasing participation, collaboration, and doing away with the demarcation between the private and the public sector. And that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is that we are also increased our earnings through the launchings of foreign satellites. So it sounds not only amazing, it gives you a sense of pride that we started off our journey much later. ISRO was born in 1969, the year when NASA landed its first human being on the surface of the moon. But today, we are earning from NASA by launching their satellites. So, to be more precise, we have so far earned 172 million US dollars by launching the US satellites, and as much as 292 million euros through the European satellites. The process had, in a small measure, a small scale, began before 2014, but it was virtually non-existent. The entire push has happened now, which again I can statistically prove to you that we have 292 European satellites sent so far, launched so far from Sriharikota, out of which 260, nearly 90% was launched after Prime Minister Modi came in 2014. And similarly, if you look at the American satellites, out of 172, I was talking of euros, sorry. If you talk the satellites, out of the total foreign satellites, 432 launched so far, as many as 397, which means over 90% have been launched after 2014. And similarly, in the terms of euros, out of 292 euros that I just now told you, as much as 260 million were earned in the last 10 years, and out of $172 million, as much as 167 million earned in the last 10 years. So in the last 10 years, it's been 9% hike in our space economy, and we hope to maintain the same pace. In fact, it's quite likely that our pace will go up further, and now we have also added on, for the first time, another location for launching in the Tuticorin district of Tamil Nadu, which will be handy also for many other reasons. And some of the upcoming, we have very ambitious calendar lined up for the next few years. As you mentioned, we are going to have this Vayomitra Gaganyaan, as I mentioned a few moments earlier. NICER, which is the NASA and ISRO, which was deferred, is going to happen again in March. Gaganyaan, of course, all the 4 astronauts have been identified, and if not, by the end of 25, beginning of 26, it will be there. Chandrayaan in 27, Venus mission in 27, which Pallav has his nose named it as Shukriyaan, but official name is Venus mission. Anyway, we borrow many things. And 2035 Bharat Antariksh Station, and 2040 will be the Indian human being on the surface of the moon. So these are some of the ambitious missions lined up, and I think another model that has been placed before the world through the Department of Space, Government of India, is that we are no longer confined only to the launching of rockets. for the benefit of those cynics who sometimes say, what is the fun, what are you going to gain out of sending it? So may I tell them that our space missions are just a fraction of the cost of the counterpart missions sent by other agencies, though we are in a select lead of just about 3 or 4 nations. But our application of space technology in different sectoral projects is much, much higher in scale compared to any other country. Whether it's the health sector, it's the agriculture sector. Just now you were talking about the Swamitva program, which was to happen 2 days back because the voting period got deferred. Again, using space technology, one of the role models for the rest of the world, where you can do the mapping of your farms and your land using drones and the space technology. Whether it is the construction of the smart cities, roads and buildings, bridges, unmanned railway crossings. So you name any sector, space technology in India has been applied almost in every sector of development and every infrastructure project. So with these few words, I think I once again, and yes, just to add to the reporting part of it, the docking is possibly going to happen on the 7th, sometime during the forenoon, which will be again a very interesting sight when the two satellites actually come close to each other.
Thank you, sir. And now I open the floor for questions. Number 2, please.